it's rolling, and it's just a whole candid deal. You know, we can just cut anything out of it, and I can edit it and everything and stuff. But well, Tom, we finally get to meet.
Yeah, we do.
And I'm not going to shake your hand again because we've already done that enough already. So it's election time here too. So we just got through that. So we're not going to do any more glad handing here. So, but we are out here in the St. Charles, Missouri area, roughly the St. Peters and
St. Charles, St. Peters, Creek Core.
Okay, all of that. And I'm not as very familiar at all with East Central Missouri. West Central Missouri is my stomping grounds, and Tom's neck of the woods is East Central Missouri. But we are from, as you know, everybody who watches the channel knows that I am from West Central Missouri, and Tom is a gentleman that I've met years ago, who I met through watching my videos, and Tom and I hooked up. He commented on my videos and left some nice comments, and you guys who have your channels know how people can leave some comments that are anything but desirable. My advice is to just delete those and go along your merry way. But Tom and I hit it off, and we have the interest of deer hunting, and my wife and I and my family, we happen to be out here in the area, and we came out here to watch our son compete in the state competition. He is was swimming relays this weekend for the Missouri State High School Athletic or Activities Association. I think I got that right, but it's the state meet for the guys who are in swimming, and they didn't do too bad. They didn't make it to the finals, but they did all right, I would say. For they did halfway decent in the prelims, and they made Ray-Pec history. We are from the Raymore Peculiar area, and they are the Raymore Panthers. Ray-Pec Panthers. Go Panthers. So anyway, this is a hunting channel, so we're not going to drag that out too long here, but let's see here. Turn it over to Tom here for a minute, because Tom is already one up on me on killing deer this year.
Just tell a story, or
yeah, just tell them. Go ahead and just I don't know, whatever you feel like saying. Just talk about the details of the hunt, and what I think was neat about it was how it all came together in the same weekend. Is that correct?
I got lucky. I work nights. I'm a sleep technologist, so I have to work nights. Got called off one night, which gave me the ability to hunt. Excuse me, to hunt in the morning, which is something I prefer to do. Went out in the morning, and I wasn't in my stand. Gosh, it was maybe, well, it was just right at shooting line. We all know that it's that time when you're kind of questioning whether you can legally shoot or not. It was well within that time frame though, and I looked out in front of me, and there's a doe walking along, and you know, everything came together. I was able to harvest her. I made a good shot. I double lunged her, and she maybe ran 40 yards and piled up. My wife helped me drag her out of the woods, and gave us plenty of meat for the freezer. So, what's so funny? Gave us plenty of meat for the freezer. So promised my wife that you know I'd butcher it myself, and I actually learned a lot from watching you and then Dr. Grant Woods as well.
Thanks.
And went back out on Saturday. I went hunting on Friday night. Told my wife I'm not shooting anything but a buck, and that's been one of my goals. Is the past 2 years, any of the deer I killed, you could have basically put in your pocket and took them out of the woods. They were so small. So I wanted to kill something that was, you know, a challenge at least. Something
I'd say you got a decent one there.
Was respectable, and passed on a doe that Friday evening when I went out. I killed one doe on Thursday, passed on a doe on Friday, and went out Saturday morning. And you know, the wind was all wrong and everything else. I decided to sit in the stand anyway. I have a homemade scent cover that you can look up on any forum, and
She's laughing again.
she's laughing again. My wife, well,
we're gonna get the girls in on this in a minute.
yeah. But I had a buck walk in downwind, you know, right at daylight again, and was able to, you know, put I think it was about a 28-yard shot on him, and he ran 50 yards. We had a heck of a time getting him out where he ran into, but once we finally got him out, we got him processed. We actually had him processed because it took so long to get him out of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't want him to go bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, a beautiful 8-pointer. It's not real thick or anything else, but for my first real buck, I'm quite pleased. Nice dark chocolate antlers.
Absolutely, those are nice. And probably with Tom's permission, of course, I'll have him send me some files, and I'll put those up, or I do some screen snips or what have you, and get those pictures up there so you all can see the deer that Tom's talking about here. So, Tom has got me this year too. So, the only deer that I have to my name so far is yes, I'm sorry, I'm killing Bambi's girlfriend. But it's good meat, okay? So we've already had the back straps, we had the tenderloins, and I've come to find out something here that I didn't know before. But Tom and I are both members of a website called myhuntprofile.com. I'll flash that up there for you. And the gentleman who created this channel is this website, excuse me. His name is Jason. And Jason, if I do recall correctly, is a chemical plant manager. So I believe you have to have a little bit of knowledge in order to do that. He's also a very avid bow hunter as well. Let's see here, where was I going with that? It was related to what you were. Oh God, what was it?
He has his own scent line.
Well, yeah, I was going to mention that, but I was going to tie that into what. Where I was going with that was Jason mentioned something to me this year, and I believe Tom had commented on the My Hunt profile comment on this particular thread here that was going on, this discussion about the inner tenders.
Yep.
And that was something that I wasn't aware of, and it was supposed to be a very, very good portion of meat. But the reason why some people have steered away from it over the years, in fact, according to Jason, a lot of hunters discard the meat, is because it's in the inner thigh area that is responsible somewhat, the muscular movements, for passing the excrement from the anal cavity. And to me, and I don't know, maybe I don't want to speak for Tom, but you know, the meat is fine because it's covered up by skin, and once you skin the deer, there's not going to be any more excrement passing because it's dead.
Yeah.
So
and you've already gotten that out of the way anyway.
Right. So. Absolutely. So try it sometime. I've never taken the inner tenders out and eaten them separately. We've always ended up with them in a roast or something like that. But don't really get a ton of meat off the little deer, but I've made myself a little promise this year. If it's brown, it's down. So if it comes in the way, it's gonna get shot. You know. So now, I guess more than anything for me on this particular property, I would say that doesn't really apply to the button bucks and the small deer and stuff. I've been blessed with an opportunity to hunt a couple of private properties where I've got some pretty big deer, and I can actually start managing the gene pool and stuff like that. I've got a deer that I might throw a picture of him up here for you. But he's got kind of on one side he's got kind of a halfway decent thing going. On the other side it looks like a handlebar going out, like straight out. And he was getting pretty close the other night. I almost decided to take him out of the herd just because you know, I didn't want the genes in going on to the rest of the buck, because I wouldn't mind shooting a big buck someday. I've never done that before. So, but to me, and Tom may feel the same way. I'm not sure. We'll find out here. He can, you know, discuss this too. But to me, it's not putting the antlers on the wall, that sort of thing. To me, it's about being out in God's creation. It's about enjoying the goodness of what He has made, bringing a portion of it, if He decides to bless me with a portion of the venison, or say a turkey, or whether it be a squirrel, rabbit hunt, I'm out fishing, what have you, to bring it home to my family to enjoy it. Enjoy what I'm seeing while I'm out there at the same time. I don't know, there's just a satisfaction of taking something yourself as opposed to going out and...
There is. I don't have anything against rifle hunters. I rifle hunt myself. I enjoy it quite a bit. It used to be all I do. But when you go out with a bow, you're there so much more. The animal has to be so much closer.
Right.
You have to put so much more time and effort into where they're going to be, how close are they going to be, managing your scent, all of that. A rifle, you can go sit down in the woods. If you see a deer, 9 times out of 10 you can shoot it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't, and there are people who put a ton of effort into rifle hunting, don't get me wrong. But with archery hunting, you just have to spend that much more time in the woods. You get to see things that a lot of people don't get to see. I've seen a fox come up and sniff the bottom of my deer stand. I've seen cool. Hawks grab a squirrel off a limb.
Wow.
Have heard turkeys gobble on Christmas morning. So, so you just don't get to experience those things unless you're archery hunting.
Very true. And like you said, Tom, it's all about getting close. I've known plenty of rifle hunters over the years who go out and pull up a stump, and 5 minutes later they're dragging out a bruiser. It's never happened to me like that. My first deer was a 5-point I took back in November of 2002 on public land in Cass County, Missouri. And it was, we had a previous really bad ice storm that year. And there was all kinds of trees that were down in the area. And I had to drag this thing out through a maze. And this was before I knew anything about special carts or slick surfaces that you can employ to put the deer on and drag it out. I was dragging this thing out after I gutted it. Fur, friction, and everything against the forest floor. And then I get this, I'm going up a hill with this thing. Finally get it over to a ditch where I can drive the truck up into the ditch and have the tailgate level. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. So I've done a lot of public land hunting, okay? And I'm not saying that I will never do any again, even while I've got these opportunities to private land hunt. But my hat really goes off to the public land hunters who can get it done the way Tom's doing. Describe that track. That
it's something that nobody else wants to hunt. It floods every year, and it's typically flooded from, I'd say, for at least 2 months out of the year. It's probably July through early September, I think it was flooded this year. And no acorns in it. It's just, honestly, it's at one end, I believe it's a bedding area, and I think it's an escape route from, you know, the bigger tracts of woods that may be private land, or that there's a quarry back there, and a lot of them hunt back on that other land. So okay. I think they run a lot of the deer over to where I'm at, but it's not a pretty piece of land at all.
Is it kind of thick and
it's thick on one end, but I mean, as with anything else that floods, it's relatively open there in the middle. You could see, for example, the doe that I got a video of. Right. I saw her coming 80 yards away. So, and then of course, as you would expect, she walked over into the thickest stuff and walked right up to me. So find the thick stuff. That's what I'm set up right on the edge of the where the thick stuff is, and then there's a trail that comes in off the other side. And I just got lucky and was sitting in one stand one day and happened to see 3 of them walk out of there. So otherwise I would never can't talk. never known it was there.
Well, you said you've got 2 stands in the area?
I do. Both of them are relatively close together. I'm probably going to soon go and move one because all the leaves are off the trees and I don't have any cover anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And the wind seems to be blowing, constantly ruining one stand for me because the wind is lately north-northwest and it just blows right into that trail where they're coming from.
That's a subject in and of itself. You guys were just getting into bow hunting, and you guys have been doing it for a while. Of course, I'm probably preaching to the choir here with you guys, but pay attention to your wind. I have 3 stands out on this one private property, and some of them, when the winter rolls around, I won't be able to touch them unless I want to blow all the deer out of the area, or I'd have to move them. And years ago, when I hunted primarily public land, you've seen some of my earlier videos. I used to hunt a very, very large, several thousand acre tract down in southeastern Cass County, northeastern Bates County, called Settles Ford Conservation Area. South Grand River runs right through it. There's been people that have said they've spotted cougars in there over the years. It's pretty wild and woolly. As a matter of fact, I took Maria and the kids down there one year, and we found a bridge that had gone out, and we were fishing, and she said it reminded her of the movie Deliverance. So some of you gals out there get a kick out of that, but get your family involved in it, guys. I'm telling you that. I mean, it'll pay big dividends. Get them off the couch. Get them away from those video games. I'm not knocking the games completely, but I'm telling you that the difference is night and day between the kids that spend some time outside and the kids that are constantly doing this all the time. The education that you can glean in God's great outdoors is immeasurable. But back to the wind situation. I was reading a few years ago from the publishers, the guys that put the ScentLock product together. Mm-hmm. And I know there's some controversy around how much that really works and how good it really is, but you know, the whole carbon activated carbon situation. But one of the things that I took home, I'm a land surveyor, and I think a lot about properties and subdivisions and how water drains and things like that, and I deal with that a lot, and this really hit home with me. But when you are out thinking about a place to hang a stand and what time of the year you're going to hunt it, consider that. Make sure that you consider what that wind's going to do, because that is very, very important to consider. And you should also consider what time of the day you're hunting, because I like to put the sun in my game animal's face if possible. Mm-hmm. So some basic things there for you to consider. But the wind, I was reading this article a few years ago, and it said that if you will consider wind like water moving into an area, or say a curb inlet in your subdivision, how it goes in and it creates a vortex and then it moves on its merry way down to the pond or what have you. I have a stand that you'll see in some of my videos that's just off a food plot, and it's at the bottom of an area where there's a creek and a very heavy stand of thick cedars to the south, and the wind swirls down in there. Now, if I make it home in time on Sunday, I might hunt it because we're supposed to have a southwest wind, but I will not touch it if the wind's out of the north. And it better be a good southwest wind too, because if it's too light, it's going to swirl. And again, you have to look at the geography. Get yourself a contour map of the area that you hunt. And United States Geological Survey puts that sort of stuff up. You can get it online. A lot of your cities nowadays and your counties have what's called geographic information systems. You might even be able to look at contours on Google Earth, I'm not sure. But there are way too many sources online nowadays for you to look at contours. Consider the lay of the land. Look for saddles and breaks, and deer are lazy, just like we are. We don't want to walk up a hill if we don't have to. You know, we want to walk through an area of least resistance. And if you can force those animals into that short, narrow area.
Mm-hmm.
It's been said that most of your bow shots, the average bow shot, out of all the bow shots that have ever been taken in modern history for compound bow hunting and what have you, and even the stick bow hunters and the guys who use the recurve, I know Tom does a little bit of both, is basically 10, 12-yard shots.
Mm-hmm. The buck I shot was 25 yards. That's the farthest I ever shot. Every other shot has been, gosh, 10, 15 yards.
Mm-hmm. And you've got me beat with that 25-yard shot. My furthest one was last year was 20, and I think it was the same lick site this year that was 18 yards. But being able to reach out that far like you did and maintain your composure, was that with your compound?
It was with my compound.
Okay.
I'm trying now to get the to get one with my recurve.
Right.
Obviously, I don't until the late season. I do have a decent buck that's back there. I don't know if when I can hunt him, I don't know if I'm going to be using the recurve or not, because I want to make sure if he comes by, I can put a good shot on him and not just wound him or miss.
That's right. And I was telling my dad the other day, I think Tom deserves to have a good season. You know.
Oh, I've already had a tremendous season. The freezer's full. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, that's right.
So.
Yeah. Well, we're both blessed men. We've got a good family, and we're still walking and healthy and breathing. We've both got our measure of infirmities in this world here, but we're still able to meet friends and stuff. And this is, like I said earlier, this is the first time that I've ever met Tom other than on Facebook and YouTube. And I will say that, you know, I've had an opportunity on my channel to share with you people that live in my area, but I'm 3.5, 4 hours east of where I live.
Easy, yeah.
And this is the first time that I've ever hooked up with somebody outside of my neck of the woods on YouTube and actually made a video with them. So hopefully the next time you see a video of Tom and I, we will be camoed up, and you know, maybe we'll meet somewhere around Columbia or something. I don't know. Who knows what'll come out of it? But the girls are over there. They've already got their lights turning and everything. And you know what I think I'd like to do now, Tom? If you don't have anything else to add to this, I'm thinking about having the girls come over here and sit down and talk a little bit. You know?
Oh, that's fine with me.
Yeah. So we're going to turn it over to the ladies now, okay?
I think so.
Come on, just for a couple minutes,
No.
right?
What are we supposed to talk about? Yeah, what are we supposed to talk about? Yeah.
Messy kitchens.
Yeah.